What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on Caitlin Clark, right? And the development of Caitlin Clark. Like lately we have been seeing the fever. They've been turning, they've been playing pretty good since while Caitlin Clark is while she's nursing her injury. And so people want to know, like, when Caitlin Clark come back, like, how will she fit into like what the Indiana Fever are doing right now, right? And so I think personally, I think that when she come back, I think she'll blend right in with what they're doing because she has the skill set and the versatility that she'll be able to bring different things to the table, right? But also, and this layoff, in my opinion, is really helping her development, right? And so to talk about her development, I want to go back to like before she even got to the WNBA, because when Caitlin, like, for somebody who can play the way Caitlin Clark can play, she in high school and in college she was able to basically do whatever she wanted to do, right? And when you have a player like Caitlin Clark who has as much talent and you are at the high school level, a lot of times the high school coaches are really not going to they're not really looking to really improve your game. Only time they really trying to improve your game and teach you the game is if you are if you're on a team where as though they need you more so to be a to fit into a program, right? But if you are a lot of times, if you're the most talented player on the team, like I'm assuming that Caitlin Clark probably was, then the coach is going to, he's going to be able to live with your flaws because her positives at that level way, they definitely outweigh the negatives, right? And so he's not, he or whether it's a him or her, they're not really going to do too much coaching or correcting and stuff like that. They just going to ride, ride that wave, so to speak, and just chalk up all the wins because she was that good. And then so the same thing, like when she gets to Iowa and she has a coach, Lisa Bluder. And so for a player like Caitlin Clark to fall into Lisa Bluder's lap, you got a 5-star you know, Caitlin Clark could have, playing the way she played, she probably could have went anywhere in the country, but she fell into the lap of Lisa Bluder at Iowa, right? And so she played for Iowa, and now again, it's the same situation that was in high school because you have Caitlin Clark now. You have Caitlin Clark on a team with probably I would say maybe some 3-star athletes, but definitely not no 4 or no 5. So you got a 5-star athlete in there, and right away, immediately, you feel the impact of this young lady on your team. Like, your team is definitely with a 5-star recruit, you're definitely going to win. So with that, you're going to be able to you want to just go ahead and probably like again, like they would do in high school, just go ahead and live with the flaws because at that level and for what she can do at that school definitely outweighs what she's definitely going to help the team way more than she's going to hurt the team, right? So you're really not going to do too much coaching, especially when it comes to saying like preparing Caitlin Clark for the next level, like whatever flaws that you might think that she have, you as a coach, Lisa Bluder probably was like, she wasn't really interested in probably preparing Caitlin Clark for the next level, right? Say for instance, like if Caitlin Clark had to play for South Carolina or LSU, like I know that Kim Mulkey and Don Staley, they because they have so many more 4 and 5-star recruits, they would need they would have needed their players or all their players, number one, to be stronger on defense. Number two, to be more of a like to protect the ball more. You know what I mean? At a school like that, you got to protect the ball more. And then on top of that, she probably would not have been able to jack up the threes like she did at Iowa. So at Iowa, man, she just had the green light. She basically could do anything she wanted at Iowa, right? Iowa, right? And you can't even knock Lisa Bluder, right? Because any coach that would have been in her in Lisa Bluder's shoes would have had to have coached Caitlin Clark like that, because you really like it. Like I said, she's the only 5-star recruit on the team. So basically, everything she did on the court was more so elevating the rest of the players, um, than it was. She didn't do anything like that was too detrimental to the players. So you just basically had to live with whatever Caitlin Clark brought to the table, seeing as though she was a 5-star recruit. And I would have to say that I think that in college, her coach really did an excellent job, because they went to two national championships. The first year they went, they made it to the national championship. They had the game before the national, they had knocked out South Carolina, right? Then they get to LSU, they get to play LSU and they lose to LSU. So that's good. Then you come back the next year, you knock out LSU, and then you go back to face South Carolina, but they lost to them. So they lost to South Carolina in the second year too, right? But you got to figure for that type of performance, to have only one 5-star ball player on your team, and to be able to get back to go to back-to-back national championships, man, that's amazing, right? That's amazing in itself. So for that reason, definitely I say that Lisa Bluder did the right thing as a coach. um Although everything that she did probably didn't really it would not have prepared her, like I said, for the next level. She would definitely have to. She was prepared, but she had some adjustments to make at the next level. Is basically what I'm saying, right? And so now Caitlin Clark comes to the WNBA, and there is a bit of an adjustment to be made, right? Like I said, defense. She need to make adjustments on defense. Uh, and get a little bit better on defense. Most of the time, and she's a guard. Most of the time, guards are really not. I'm not trying to excuse guards, but guards more so are not really all that good on defense. So that's the thing with defense. But she also would have to protect that ball more, and she would not be able to. She can't really jack up as many of those logo threes as she wants to, right? And so, but like I said, now with her being able to sit down and watch the way that the new coach is coaching, because basically what this new coach is doing, like Stephanie White, is she has to get Caitlin Clark to realize that although she is an elite scorer, a dynamic scorer, her scoring does can do two things to a team. Number one, it can take her other teammates out of a rhythm, because she the kind of player who can get her shot when and where she want it, right? So, but that right there is not good for the overall team. So she has to be able to keep her team involved. So she got to pick and choose her spots. That's number one. Then number two, she don't want to Caitlin Clark. She don't want Caitlin Clark to work so hard for a basket, and then coming down the stretch, Caitlin Clark don't have the energy or the legs to be able to help the team out. And so right now, with this layoff that Caitlin Clark is going through, this injury that she's battling, I think it's a good thing for Caitlin Clark, because it'll just show her that it'll give her more confidence in the coach. And it'll allow her to see that, okay, so what coach is talking about is really, we can win like that because the proof is there, right? And so when Caitlin Clark come back, then you'll see Caitlin Clark try to fit in and do what the coach want. And like I said in previous videos, Caitlin Clark could probably the way Stephanie White offense is run and the way Caitlin Clark can score, I think Caitlin Clark could average close to 30 points a game in this offense. And that's with her not working as hard as she is, as she was previously before the injury. And again, I'll go back to the point that I always make. Like, people say, well, don't take the ball out of Caitlin's hands. And I think to take the ball out of Caitlin's hands will make Caitlin more effective, and it will make the Fever offense run more efficiently. At certain times, like if when a play break down and the clock is winding down, at the end of the shot clock, yeah, definitely you want Caitlin Clark to do her thing then, right? But not every possession. You want to keep Aaliyah Boston. You want to keep Kelsey Mitchell. You want to keep Natasha Howard. You want to keep Sophie Cunningham. You want to keep all of your ball players. You want to keep them engaged, and you don't want them to be just standing around watching Caitlin Clark. If they're standing around, then that means that Caitlin Clark she's going to face tougher defense. People can sag off and help. All the attention is being brought to Caitlin Clark. So right now, what we're seeing with Caitlin Clark, like I said, and she's still, when she's in there, she's still being very effective. She's very effective. But the way their offense run, I think that this will just carry her to the next level, right? I think it'll be the same as if like when Phil Jackson implemented that the triangle offense for Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, right? Mike was getting his points, Mike was doing his thing, but Mike was working so hard before Phil Jackson got there, and the defense, their opponents was focused on stopping Michael Jordan. So, but just like Michael Jordan, once he learned that he didn't have to work as hard and he could be more efficient, that's just going to make her a more dangerous ball player, because then when she learns how to manipulate the defense, read and react, like no set plays, but just read and react to whatever the defense gives her. And with the gifts that she has, and she can be able to score all over the court. Plus, she's an excellent free throw shooter. It's going to be crazy. You know what I mean? I just think it's really going to be it's going to be crazy for the opponents, people who are going to have to try to devise a plan to be able to stop Caitlin Clark. But like I said, like the point of this video was just to point out the fact that Caitlin Clark in college and high school and in college is not this, that game that she had back then is not the game that she's going to need going forward to be the elite ball player that people, that most people think that she's going to be at the next level, So this is like going from playing checkers to playing chess right now, right? And then once she learned how to play chess, it's going to be game over. Yeah, so that's my thing. Like I said, with Lisa Bluder, when Lisa Bluder coached her, um, Lisa Bluder was like, just get a ball to Caitlin, everybody get out of Caitlin way. And it worked, it got them to 2 national championships. But at this level, it's talent at this WNBA level. It's just talent all over the floor, up and down the bench. You just got talent all over the place. So you gotta be able to you gotta learn how to play the game. And so that's what I think this is right here for Caitlin. I think it's just an adjustment period for her, and once she get really adjusted, it's the sky's the limit. So that's my take on the Caitlin Clark, situation. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a message or a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.